This is for teachers, Tai Chi teachers, Qigong teachers, anyone who is even beginner. Beginner will get something out of this, but it's also for intermediate people, it's for advanced students too, but particularly for teachers. When you're teaching, think about you're a student still, so you're still learning, and now your students are big teachers of you. That's a really good position to put yourself in. It lets go of a lot of frustrations that can come from teaching. One thing that teaching can build, it can build a sense of arrogance inside the teacher, a sense of superiority, and that the arrogance and superiority is in a lot of people, especially who have naturally strong bodies or a strong mindset to start. They can build very easy. Humility is a huge part of Tai Chi practice, it's a huge part of spirituality. And what we need to balance is focus, drive with humility, so they go together. So you don't become a raging arsehole pretty much with no compassion. So the humility needs to be there to say that this is holistic. So Tai Chi training is holistic. Hunyuan is the term. It's like a sphere. The learning and the development is spherical. We don't just focus on building up a strength, that something that's already strong, keep building that up, because it's always weakened by the weakest part. So it only be as strong as our weakest part. So Hunyuan means that we open up and strengthen holistically. So the weaknesses develop as the strengths develop, and a certain point becomes very holistic. So we're always working on, there's an ease of working on weaknesses too. A lot of people don't want to go into weaknesses. They only want to focus on strengths. That's a massive weakness inside the resilience and the self-esteem inside the person. So Tai Chi and Qigong training naturally start to strengthen that out. So we want to work on weaknesses. We don't want to just always use strength and overpowering and that sort of stuff. We want to work on yielding, flowing, and letting go. Letting go is a huge strength. And surrender. Surrender is the ultimate form of control. There's active control and there's passive control. Passive control is letting things be, letting it surrender, letting the water descend into the lowest part. So when you have students who aren't understanding and they're getting frustrated, realize it's their frustrations. If it triggers you, look at where you're frustrated and how you can't get things across. Where you're frustrated in other areas of your life where you just can't understand, look at that, so the student become a teacher for where do I need to have more humility, more patience, more focus on areas of my life that I find frustrating or limiting. So where can I look at that in my life? So all of a sudden that moment of that frustration being projected at you, it's actually, and if it's triggered you, it means it's something for you. If it's being projected at you and it just falls off like water off a duck's back, doesn't affect you, then it means it's that person's. A big one also is people not wanting to change, and this is probably the most common thing that you'll find when teaching Tai Chi and Qigong. People say they want to change, but when it's really the crux of it, where the thing that would really change them quite a lot starts to open up, they nearly always dive under, go deeper, pretend that's not there, not want to see it, get angry at you for showing it or that being presented to them. That's the most common thing. People don't want to grow even when they say they don't want to. When people want to grow, when they say they want to grow and they're showing that they are growing, is when they do the practice regularly. When there's something that's difficult, they'll come ask a question about it to help get some insight, or get help from someone else. So they're actively seeking out and making action steps of how can I navigate this, how can I work with it, rather than, oh, there's an obstacle, I better stop what I'm doing. That's not wanting to change. So where you work with those people is where in me do I not want to change? And it may not be in health, because Tai Chi is so focused on health. It might be in intimate relationship, might be in friends, might be in money, might be in purpose, might be in family. So there's the 6 main areas of life. Where do I not want to change? Where am I really resistant to change? Where am I stubborn? Where am I just sticking carrots in my ears so that I can't hear what anyone says that will be of help for me? Where do I continually ask for information? So the ask hole, the person who keeps asking for information that think would help them, you give them information, things that will help. They just don't just walk the steps to make it livable. And every time they do the exact opposite to what you advise. So where am I not taking advice? I keep asking for the advice, but when I get it, I don't take it at all. Where's the lack of trust in other people, and ultimately where's the lack of trust in myself? Where's the just purely not valuing inside? Victimhood is a big part of everyone. Everyone has a victim inside. Some people carry it like a badge. So victimhood makes people around them drop their boundaries. I feel sorry for people. The soul doesn't want pity. Some people do, but generally the soul in general doesn't want pity. It just needs understanding of why things have to be a certain way and how can I empower myself? How can I get the support to empower myself? So Tai Chi is about energy, it's about empowering yourself, it's about breaking through limitations, expanding through limitations, working on your weaknesses, being able to really train letting go of tension in the body, letting go of energy, so there can be a natural, different strength inside, a very natural strength. And that's the fundamental of what Tai Chi is. That's why at a certain point people will get to and they seem to not want to develop anymore, or they stop coming to class, they stop wanting to engage with the teacher, or they want to interrupt all the time. That's a big one. Interrupt as a way of distracting away from what they really need to go into. And having said that, we need to have patience with things that are difficult for people. If it wasn't difficult, they would go through, they would get past it. So there needs to be that compassion, that humility and understanding that things are difficult when they're in your face. But on the outside, it can be look like you just got to do this, and it'll be so much easier to navigate around, and you'll be more empowered afterwards. So as a teacher, we have to have this kind of wisdom, this kind of understanding, this compassion and this humility, and especially the humility to go, where in me is that limitation that person's showing? Where can I work on it? By me working on it, it allows them to maybe unlock that part inside too. If it doesn't unlock it in them, it unlocks it in some other students who haven't even voiced it. That's a holistic nature, that's Hun Yuan.